Jude Okafor, the National Secretary Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, is joining me right here at the table. Welcome to you, and let's get started. I want to know fundamentally, what does it take to make bread? What are the ingredients so that we can dissect it from there? Yes.
The ingredients are largely flour, sugar, yeast, butter, flavor, and other condiments.
Okay.
Depending on the species, the type you want to make, or the brand.
And the cost of production would also involve perhaps your ovens.
The oven, the firewood, the electricity charges, and all of that.
Okay, why I asked that question is for us to now be able to dissect it. Take a look at the price of flour. I did say the last time I bought bread, a small loaf of bread, now at least 600 naira. That was the same loaf of bread I used to buy for 250, 300 naira some time ago. Why are we seeing that hike in bread prices?
Thank you very much.
Different bread. You have coconut bread, wheat bread.
Yes. The thing is that between the January 2021, this year, flour was then selling for 10,500 naira. As we speak now, flour is now 22,000 naira. You can see the...
So is it for 50 kg or for...
50 kg I'm talking about. Okay. For 22,000 naira. The sugar was then selling for about 13,000 something. But now sugar is 22,000 naira. In spite of the fact that sugar importers have been provided with forex by the CBN, because they are an oligopoly. Just Dangote, Bua, and one other company that are into sugar. So the bakers are of the view that the monopoly or the oligopoly should be broken down. More players should be involved, including the association, to import this sugar. So the flour millers too, the members, the association, at their NEC meeting, even of May 25, 2021, and the one just had recently in Abuja, have requested the federal government to provide the flour miller with forex, FX, through a preferential CBN window, so that they can afford to get this flour. There are other neighboring African countries that have done that. Recently, just Senegal. They scrapped everything because food, wheat, which is the basic food for 90% of Nigerians every morning and the afternoon before dinner, is already getting out of the reach of the people. So intervening by way of providing them with forex and then scrapping the 15% wheat levy that was introduced in 2012. It has outlived its usefulness. It is not doing anything for the bakers. The reason for which it was established was to empower master bakers to begin to include other locally produced goods, cassava, to be able to make bread. Recently, we have been able to discover that potato can even be applied up to 20% capacity.
For bread making? For
bread making. So the accumulated fund in the CBN from this 50% wheat levy should be used to empower master bakers. As we were told then by the federal government, 5,000 bakers were to be equipped at the ratio of 6 bakers per local government across the federation. Only one batch was done, involving about 157 bakers, and that was the end. So we want the federal government to use the accumulated fund to complete the empowerment exercise. And at the moment, because of the situation of the economy and the COVID era that we are already in, scrap that 15% wheat levy and then reduce the other charges on wheat importation to at most 10%.
Okay, I want to ask, during the Akinwumi additional days as minister, he, advertised, he said so much about cassava bread. Just like you said that potato now, you found out that potato can also be used in bread making. How far has it gone in terms of cassava, using it to make bread? Or is it because the minister is no longer there, we don't hear anything about cassava bread again?
No, what is there is that today in the market, cassava tend to be very, very expensive now. Oh. Very, very. What we have in the market presently that is still very, very cheap, and Nigerians are not into it now, is a potato. And the advantages of potato over cassava are numerous.
Is it the Irish potato? Or
the orange-fleshed sweet potato. With the inclusion of that, with usage of this potato, we apply a limited amount of sugar into the bread. It saves us sugar, and it saves us milk. We reduce the application of milk, and it's very rich in vitamin A. So we have written the federal government to please encourage potato farming in large quantities in all the states of the federation, it could be farmed. So from there, and the application is very simple compared to the other one, the other crop, the cassava.
Okay. I understand that your association is planning a strike.
Yes.
On the 23rd of September, that's in just a few days' time. Are you saying that we will not have bread across the country?
Yes. What we are saying is that we are an association made up of 450,000 members over in this country, employing at least 20 workers per bakery, and indirectly employing about 20 vendors that vend this bread per bakery. You can articulate the multiplier effect. So between the period we gave that one in last in May to now, 30% of our members have shut down their businesses. It is there. And those of us who are still producing now are producing at about 40% capacity. So the way it is going, if we have been crying out, and the way it is going, before the end of the year, all of us might be put out of the business. So the master bakers, in consideration of all of this, and this crisis January, is now pleading with the federal government to ensure that before the expiration of these 2 weeks, that these issues are attended to. They can easily, yes.
Who have you been liaising, or who have you spoken to at the federal level to tell the person or the minister or the office about your agitations?
Yes, we have written to the federal ministry. We have held meeting with the Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, okay, where a committee was set up, and the committee articulated requests from government. As at the time this meeting was holding, the meeting comprised of flour millers and other stakeholders in the industry. And as at the time this meeting was holding, flour was selling at 14,000 naira. That was just July here. It was selling at 14,000 something. So between then and now, flour have risen to 22,000 naira. So in that meeting, from that committee, these points were articulated, or the resolution was taken by all the stakeholders, urging the federal government to, one, provide the bakers with provide the millers with forex from CBN preferred window, provide sugar importers with forex. It is later that we were told that the sugar companies have now been provided with forex. But we are surprised that instead of the sugar price to start going down, it continues surging. Why? Because the sugar, 3 companies that were appointed to run this sugar importation are already an oligopoly, and they have become a cartel. So the federal government, to check this, how to break down that oligopoly and bring in other players. There are other issues that are contained in those requests. One of them is that the bakers should be empowered. Empowerment, I mean, is by helping them in building their life, because our working capital have been massively, depleted as a result of this massive increase in the price of our baking materials. We equally talked about multiple taxation by revenue agencies. You can imagine that these days you see somebody saying he's coming from Ministry of Labor, walking to a bakery, that they want to have certification of your workers, they want to visit and inspect your workers, and this thing goes with charges. A situation where CPC comes and says, I want to come and check your staff, check this, check that, it goes with charges. NAFDAC comes, of course, they are our chief regulator. They do their own, we agree. But where we disagree with NAFDAC is that after the meeting with the Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, where we were asking that some should be excluded from regulating us, NAFDAC went ahead now to increase their tariff by over 100%.
How much was it before?
It was about 31,000 something for the product registration, but now it has gone to about 100,000.
In a COVID period?
In this COVID period. And they have introduced all manner of charges. The form we usually fill for 250 naira is taken to 2,500. Baking without a chief baker that used to be. In fact, that is even an abnormal, because you can get somebody and train him to start baking bread for you. Why will you now begin to say a chief baker must be registered and you have to pay 50,000 naira? And now if you are caught without having that chief baker, the charges are equally increased. Late renewal have been increased from 50,000 to 150-something thousand. So we're asking the government to intervene and insulate the bakers from all these multifarious revenue agencies. There is one that is called NESRA, Environmental Impact Assessment Agency.
NESRA.
Yes, yeah. So these ones are just disturbing all our members all over the place, that we should not use firewood. Since we are using firewood to produce bread, it endangers the atmospheric whatever. So, and the firewood we use, it can only combust in the oven chamber. It doesn't.
So what did Nestor say you should use instead?
No, they said we should come, and they want to do what they refer to impact assessment and pay some fees. We now ask them. So if we pay these fees, the damage is no longer done to. What do you do to the environment by the time we pay you these fees? Did
they propose like a cleaner energy, like clean stoves to use to bake?
No. They didn't talk about that. But Nancy, if I want to ask you this, we all grow up in this country up to this moment. Food that is prepared and eaten in this country is prepared with firewood. About 90% of food eaten in this country.
Yes, but we also encourage that food should be prepared in a cleaner way.
Of course.
To also protect the environment so that we can also live longer. The air we breathe should be better.
Definitely. The oven system we use has a burning, combusting chamber. There is no way the smoke gets into the pan at all. It's built in such a way that there is a separation between the chamber and then the oven. We know all this.
Okay, I think we'll leave it at that. Let's continue to see. Your association has definitely said what he has to say, and let's see what the government will do between now and September 23.
Yes, I'm following on that. I need to mention the issue of security.
Very quickly.
A very issue of security. The dislocation of the bakery industry now will become more a serious security concern to government. The present security situation will be a child's play by the time we display over 20 million Nigerians, as we are now witnessing, that is unfolding. And it would have saved the government more problem if they use a much lesser amount now to lose it from this levies on wheat importation than using much bigger money to handle the issue of insecurity when it begins to increase by the time the industry is dislocated.
Okay, I think
so we are begging the federal government to please scrap the 50% weight levy and provide the flour millers with forex.
Okay,
it's not a big thing to do.
I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
All right, I've been speaking with Jude Okafor, who is the National Secretary Association of Master Bakers and Caterers in Nigeria. You've heard him, September 23. The association with down tools all over the country. So that means there may be no bread, or the little bread that we'll have would skyrocket the price. That's the implication. I am Nancy Naji. I will see you all again tomorrow, God willing. Be the best you can be and be that change that you want to see. Bye now.